Hello, this is Brett from Survival Comms, and today we're going to talk about organizing and deploying your radio cache. I know several people have two-way radio caches, and I just wanted to discuss how I organize mine and how I would roll out the radios to get them out to my work group. And it really doesn't matter what kind of radios you have, as long you could use this as an example of how to organize them. It doesn't matter if they're ham radios, GMRS radios, FRS radios, or whatever. This is just a video on organizing them and getting them out to your workforce. I prefer a hard-sided case. You can get a Pelican case if you wanted to. They're more money, but this provides a pretty good amount of impact protection, so I can throw it in and out of a vehicle. It does provide some moisture protection. It can handle a little bit of rain. It does have a gasket in it. I certainly wouldn't want to leave it outside during a blowing rainstorm, but I could put it in a garbage bag if I needed to. It's got rollers on the end of it here, and it's got a handle so you can pull it like your carry-on luggage. And like I said, it was inexpensive, so inexpensive is always good. We're going to go over the contents that I have in here. Basically, this is a portable radio cache. It has 5 radios, and that gives you enough radios to equip a work group or a team of people to do many different tasks, whether it's on your farm or whether it's at an event or for a search deployment or anything like that. We have one bag that's got speaker microphones. It's easier to store your radios without your microphones attached. Some people like speaker microphones, some people don't like speaker microphones, so I always prefer to keep that detached. I also have some earpieces in here. If someone wanted to use an earpiece, you could certainly plug in an earpiece. So that goes over the accessory packet. I have 2 AA battery holders here for the portable radios that are in the cache. These hold 12 AA batteries. So you can, if someone else isn't bankrolling your battery purchases, using these things can get pretty expensive pretty quick. So these are in there as a redundancy. I have a bank charger. We'll charge 6 radios at once, or all 5 with 1 spare battery. I can take this out of the case. If I had to, I could use it inside the case, but I prefer to give these a little bit of ventilation, so I would pull it out of here. But, like I said, if I had to do it, I could run it inside of here. The radios I use are XTS 3000 Model 1s. You can get these things very inexpensively. They're very durable. The battery packs are available. They're relatively inexpensive, and they last a long time. You're going to get a lot more battery life and a lot better performance out of a commercial radio than you are out of your typical ham or GMRS radio, at the expense of frequency flexibility, which I don't want to go too into detail about that, but with your ham radios or your the Chinese imports now that a lot of people seem to like, you can basically program those radios right from the keypad, and that's a good thing. It gives you some flexibility, but with one of these radios here, I put a battery on it, I screw an antenna on it, I hand it to someone, tell them stay on channel 4, they go to channel 4, it's a no-brainer. It's really simple to operate, because if you don't have radio savvy people you're working with, when you give them a radio and you give them complicated instructions, they're not going to remember it when they need to. So try to keep it as simple as possible is what I've always found to work in the past for me. I did put some of the pull and pluck foam that I had laying around in here to, separate things. I have 8 battery packs, which gives me 3 spare batteries, so I can keep those charging while people are out working with the radios or using them. And we're going to go over the documentation here. I keep my documentation up here for the cache, and we'll go over this stuff individually. Okay, this is the documentation I keep with my radio cache. I keep a cache inventory. I know there's not a lot of stuff in the box, but this allows me to keep track of the batteries. You can see the batteries are numbered. What I can do is, if a battery's bad, I have a battery number. I also have a a silver Sharpie that I've marked those numbers on the battery, so if it's bad I can strike its name from here and pull it out of the cache. Same thing with the radios. For programming purposes, if you're working with, you can have several different radios with the same model number, but they have a different flash code, and that will not allow you to use the same template when you program the radio. So keep track of your flash codes in case you've got some that are different, and keep track of the serial numbers for accountability purposes or service purposes. I also have the numbers of the microphone, what model numbers are in there, and then the AA case model number. If I needed to procure something else, I could go ahead and get one of the same part number, and using those part numbers makes it easier. Just, you know, saying I need an XTS 3000 speaker mic. Okay, well, which one do you want? Well, there you go. I've got the stuff down there right there. Okay, the next form I use is how I keep track of my radio template. I use an ICS 217 form. A lot of people will do them in Excel for their cache. These are available for download on the internet. You can get the downloadable one, and it's actually like a Microsoft Office document, or you can go ahead and fill everything out. The radios in this cache are capable of 48 channels in 3 zones. So what you have, 16 channels in 3 zones. So essentially what you would do is you would have zone A, B, and C. You would put like 1A. Then you can go ahead and put in a generic name. Since those radios don't have displays, they're not going to have an alpha tag on the radio, but you have a generic name for it. Eligible users, if you had certain channels in your cache that you wanted to reserve for managers or wide area use only, or for specific users, you can annotate that right here. You can put in your receive frequency here. This is a wideband frequency. You can also put narrow. This stuff becomes very important when you start dealing with different users and multiple radios and you know, if I was to give this form to somebody else and they were programming their cache, and I was programmed as narrowband, they were programmed as wideband, radio to radio wouldn't work so bad. But if I was using their field deployable infrastructure and they used a narrowband repeater and I programmed it wideband, I would have syllable loss and could cause some problems. Selective signaling protocol for the receive channel, which is in this instance is a PL. Transmit frequency, transmit PL, and also whether it's analog or digital. Essentially, that becomes important when you're working with other users too. And also this information, when we fill out the next document, you'll take the information from this right here when you fill out your communications plan. Now when you're working with by yourself, if you and your friends are hunting or whatever have you, you really don't have to worry about that. But if you're working with or anticipate working with a larger group of people, and especially people that are perhaps different radio caches, this becomes very important. This is your ICS 205 form, which is your communications plan. Again, this is another downloadable document. What I usually do is I keep these blank, and what I'll do is I'll hand fill it out on an event basis, which you'll put your incident date, your operational period and time, and then you can go ahead and fill out your different channels. Now you wouldn't take your particular channels from your 217 form, but what you would do is like say that you wanted to use, okay, we need a tactical channel. So for example, we use channel 1 from here, but we would just go ahead and write it in 1. Now what we would do is just put in a generic name for it, who's eligible to use it, and now this is your information from your 217 right here. And then also what I always put in this remarks section is what channel position it is in your portable radio. So that way people will know that's cache portable 1. So if you take a radio from that cache, it's going to be channel 1 on there. If you wanted to add a repeated channel that was, and you would go ahead and you would put function right here. You could put repeat net, all users, and then put your frequency information, and then say it was, you put cache portable channel 8 zone B. You could put that in there, and that's where you would annotate that. So that way what you would do is you can keep track of what frequencies are in use, and also when you integrate with another team or you have to interoperate with another team, you have this kind of information available to you, and it also prevents you from interfering with someone else in an ongoing operation. And finally, this is my radio issue form. This is one I made myself. If I was working with multiple caches, what I would do is I would name each cache, like let's say this cache was the alpha cache. I could put A1, so portable 1 from the A cache, the person receiving the radio, their name, their position, and then their cellular telephone number. Not only is this for accountability purposes, what I'm doing is I'm building a roster, and I'm also building a redundant communications path by using the cellular telephone number on there. So it's serving multiple functions. It's very quick to fill this out, to hand out a radio, and then the team can go to work. So I hope this has given you guys some food for thought on, deploying your radio cache. And until next time, this is Brett from Survival Comms.